When I recently discovered an American chestnut tree that had succumbed to the blight that also had the characteristic D-shaped holes that made me think of the emerald ash borer, I wanted to take a look to see what was happening under the surface. But because the American chestnut is such a much harder wood than the white ash, it's not so easy to get under the surface. I actually had to debark this piece of wood before trying to get down to the Cambrian layer because it's so much tighter and harder. So I had to use a hammer and chisel. By comparison, the white ash comes off just by hand. Oh, looks like we have ourselves a little extra surprise on this piece of white ash. I will replace it for another one, and let's try again. This white ash tree wasn't as far gone as that American chestnut, so the bark is actually a little tight as white ashes go, but I just stick the chisel into one of the D-shaped exit holes, and then once I pry it, it comes off easily, and it takes us right down to the Cambrian layer where we can see the track marks from the borer, and once I get started, it even comes off by hand. Again, pretty much down to the Cambrian layer. Let's switch back to the American chestnut log so I can show you the little black hole where the borer enters through the bark and then lives out its childhood, so to speak, making tunnels around in the Cambrian layer. And once it finishes that juvenile phase, it emerges through the D-shaped hole. It has been suggested by a viewer that this could be a relative of the emerald ash borer called the chestnut borer. Judging by the damage and the tracks left behind, it's hard to say which one it may be. I'm going to be watchful of any other American chestnuts that have this characteristic D-shaped hole in their bark, because for me, it doesn't matter which one of the insects is causing this damage. The big question that I have now is, did the insect strike after the blight had hit the tree or before?